Hello everybody, welcome back to X-Plane 11 once again. We are flying the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. This is the #1 airplane requested for me to fly. We only have one option when it comes to X-Plane 11, and this is the Magknight 787-900. You can get this on xplane.org, and then you will have to go to their Discord to update it to the latest beta. So this is the Aviators edition of the 787. This has got the Beta 5 added onto it. So we have a lot more custom systems and stuff added to the airplane. It's been out for a while. However, I wanted to wait until it was ready for a flight and ready through the updates. So keep in mind when you purchase this airplane, is it something you want to support to see where it goes in the future? That's what I did a long time ago. When it first came out, and it wasn't ready for the prime time, but now it is. So this is a different style video than recently. Recently, we have been doing it to where we're ready to push back from the gate. The airplane is completely cold and dark right now. For those of you that are brand new to this airplane, I do want to show you how I set it up for a flight. So if you want to check out the departure side of things, I'll have a link for that in the description below. You just click on that and it will be like it is normally when we're ready to push out. So for those of you that want to learn the airplane systems, follow along. For the rest of you, just wait for the departure. We do have AI air traffic around. We're using Just Flight's Traffic Global that came out recently on the 23rd of October. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we see it. But we do have a live airport. We're doing San Francisco down to LAX today. Let's get started. And welcome aboard the 787. We are here at the flight deck. You can see the textures are pretty lackluster. They need some love for sure. Systems, pretty decent. Not too bad. But kind of on the level of what you would get with a default airplane in X-Plane, sadly. We'll go over that stuff a little bit later on as we need to. So let's go to the overhead panel. I want to say I'm sorry you cannot see my mouse cursor. NVIDIA's GeForce Experience, the latest version of it, broke that. So when I record with Shadow Play, it doesn't record that. So I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to explain it the best I can as we do the things that we do here. So first thing is first, on the electrical side of the panel, we're going to hit battery on. That brings her to life. We're not going to be using the forward power, external power, or the aft external power today. So we're going to leave those off. We're going to start the APU. We'll go on. Give it a couple seconds for that door to open up, and then we'll hit start. So it's going to start to do that, and we can actually see that the airplane systems are now alive. We have the doors open as they are working on the airplane. We can go to the status page, and we can watch the APU firing up here. We've got RPM rising. EGT hasn't started to increase yet, so keep in mind, until the RPM's closer to 100% and the EGT starts spiking, we won't have power to the airplane from the APU, so keep that in mind. As we go over our systems here, at the very, very top, heading ref, that goes norm true. IRSs, we want to put those both to the on position. It'll say on bat there. And then it goes away. We're going to be on APU Gen before too long here. So as we move down, we'll turn IFE pass seats on, cabin utility on. We'll turn our APU Gens on. And then we are not using external power. You can if you want to, but we're not. AC buses, those are all 4 coming on. I'm going to do this as slow as possible, so if you're new to the airplane. We go to the next panel here. We've got battery. You can test and all that stuff up here. Battery's high. Great. Towing power on. FD door power is on. Emergency lights are they are on and they're armed and they're guarded. Moving down, we've got window heat backups go on. Primary window heat comes on. Ram air turbine is put away there and guarded. Hydraulic panel, we're going to turn these guys to the on position. Everybody goes to auto. There we go. Passenger signs come on. And then these are our panel lights. So we have overhead panel, dome, master, bright. You've got your glare shield, your panel stuff here. Those are our landing lights. Not worried about that. Next panel, down. Ground test is on norm. CBR, we'll leave all that stuff. We've got cargo fire armed. We've got discharge is guarded. Everybody's good here. Engine elect modes are on norm and they're guarded. These are the engine starters. Below there is the fuel jettison. We've got those all set. So with the fuel tanks, we're going to go left forward pumps on, right forward pumps on, crossfeed off, center pumps on. Do not turn on balance. That will prevent the airplane from starting up. Anti-ice, if you want to get rid of an anti-ice message that'll be on your status page, that will be because it needs to be into auto mode for the wing. The anti-ice for the engines can be off. That is fine. Nav lights come on. Moving on to the next one. So cargo temp is on low. That's fine. Air conditioning panel, we're going to turn these guys on. Those are on nice spot there. And then left pack on, right pack on, trim airs come on. Pressurization is set to auto, and we are good. So with the 787, you do not have to turn the packs off. Earlier versions of this airplane, you did have to start the engines. The latest version, you do not have to, just like the real 787. You can keep those in auto, which is fantastic. So you can see we have everything starting to come to life here. On the left-hand side, we've got this little panel over here. I'm going to zoom in. You'll see a PWR switch. We hit that to turn the power on. This is our EFB, the electronic flight bag. So to start things up, well, actually, I'll show you the settings here. We go to settings down here. We've got mass units are set to kilos. I want them in pounds, please. Baro default units are in HPA. I want them in inches. Custom cursor, I'm going to keep it on. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure if you can. That'd be pretty cool if you can. Disconnected idle is off. That disconnects the auto throttle if you pull them to idle. I have that off for now. It's experimental. Helpful pointers are on right now. I'm going to turn them off. Otherwise, it'll complain if I have the beacon light on while I'm shutting the engines down, or if I shut it off too early or something. VATSIM is off. Iris align time is in real time. I'll put that on instant because I don't want to wait around 10 minutes for that to happen. Shared baro is going to go to on. That is so that the barometer I have on my side will also be reflected on the first officer side. Use yaw for NWS. That is able to use your pedals or using a yaw if you have pedals for nose wheel steering. We have that on. Roll, if you don't have pedals and you just have a yoke or you just have a stick, you can set that to on and you can steer the airplane that way. Cockpit reflections are on. Cabin reflections are on. Cabin seats are on. Pause at top of descent is off. And I'm happy with those settings. Go to main menu. And we start off by going to the terminal charts. We go to the terminal charts page. In origin, we're going to click in there, KSFO. And then on the right-hand side, destination today will be LAX. So Kilo, Lima, Alpha, X-ray. Wonderful. Then we just hit complete there, and we're good to go with that. Now you can go to ground services here, and if we wanted to use the external power, we would set those right here. That's for the pushback, and that there is another GPU. So plan pushback, we can do that now if we would like. We're going to wait a little bit later on to do that. Let's go to main menu. Performance. This is where we go to set up all the weights and everything for the airplane. On the left-hand side, you can go to airport info. It shows you all the information you have right now. You've got show takeoff. That's what we're going to do here in a minute. But before we do any of this stuff, we want to go to WT and balance, weight and balance, and we are greeted with this screen right here. So in PAX zone, we have 1 of 30. So that's our first class. Let's say we have 30 people. Oh, I forgot. You can't do that. Don't use your numpad. If you're used to that, you can't do it. All right, we'll just do 30 with the actual keyboard down here. Passenger zone 221. I'm going to load this airplane up, and the reason why is because it's designed to go for a long distance. We're not putting that much fuel into this thing to go down to LA. It's a short hop, so we can have plenty of weight on board the airplane, and it won't be a problem. So we're going to max those guys out. We go to the cargo zone now. Forward, I'm going to put 5,000 in the front. And then, actually, you know what? Let's go with 2,000 in the front. Not a whole lot. And then in the bulk, we're going to put a flyaway kit. About 1,500 pounds are going to go back there. So those are good. Aft, I'm going to keep, we'll put 2,000 in that one too. There we go. So everybody's nice and equal. Go to the fuel page. Now, I use simbrief.com. It's a free website to get all of my information for my flights. And you can get your OFP there. It gives you a dispatching option, and you can get all your data that you need for your flight. If I'm doing just my routing and my flight levels, I'll look at what flightaware.com is doing. Those are the two I use. So if I look at my sim brief information, they're going to tell me, hey, you're going to need 39, sorry, not that much. You're going to need block fuel is 33.5. So 33.5, show keyboard. We'll go 33.500. And you're noticing right there, look, it doesn't fill up the airplane too much because it holds a lot of fuel. So that's good. Once we're done with that, we can hide the keyboard. You can see our weight and balance envelope down here. And at the top, we just click complete. Once that's completed, it will be happy. We have our takeoff weight, CG. That's good to go there. So airport is San Francisco. Runway, they want us taken off on runway 28 left. So I'm going to go down to 28 left. It's a long taxi. INTX, I really don't know what that means, so I'm not worried about that. Condition is of the runway. Runway is dry. Wind, I'm looking over there at Active Sky. It's showing winds 300 at 10. So 300 at 10. We just go to our keyboard here and go 330/10. You don't have to do 010, or if it was 4 knots, you don't do 004. It won't take it. It would be, say the wind was 4 knots, it would be 330/4. That's what it wants. Don't ask me. Altimeter right now, we need to set that over here. We're going to go to inches instead of HPA, and we're going to set that to 2984. That is what it's currently right now. 2984 is set. Beautiful. Looking over here, we can now see that that is showing up there. RTG, this is basically the derate of our takeoff. We're going to reduce the power of the engine, so it doesn't need to be 100% to get out of here. We'll just do takeoff 1. ATM is your ambient temperature. And that right now is 73 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's 23 degrees Celsius. And we can put that in there like that. So let's click on that. 23 Celsius. Flap, we're going to do flaps 10 departure. You can do 5 if you'd like, but we're going to do that. A/I is your anti-ice, and we're going to take off with anti-ice off. Once that's all complete, we can hide the keyboard. You'll see down here we have nothing. We hit calculate and wait a few seconds. It will give us all of our information. We've got flaps 10, acceleration height. All this stuff is all calculated now for us. We have V1 of 135. We have VR of 137. V2 of 148. Stab trim 3.75 units. So we come over here. You're going to see on stab where the green is. That's where they want it. They want that forward amount of trim. This is because we don't have a lot of fuel in the airplane. I'm going to go 4.75. Even though that says they want 375, I'm going to do 475 because 375 is a little too far forward for me. It's a pretty heavy pull back to rotate the airplane, so I'm not worried about that. Only our flaps are set to 1. They should be at 0. Moving on from that, we're pretty happy with that. So now we can look at our MCP, which is this guy. It is our middle panel here. And we've got the left to right. So left to right, we'll turn on our flight director left. Flight director right is good. IES is set to 200. What we need to do is calculate by taking V2 plus 15. So if we look down here, V2 is 148, so 148 plus 15. That's going to give us 163. So 163, we'll just put that right there in this. Now, this is assuming all of our auto throttle system is going to work correctly, which I haven't had any luck with since it uses pretty much the default autopilot system. So that's the reason why I've had issues with that. Track is set to 280. We're taking off on 28 left. That'll work just fine right there. Altitude on departure, let's just go climb up to 210. We're going to 330 today, so that's close enough. There we go. That is set. And autopilot lights are out. Everybody's out. We're good to go on that panel. In the center at the bottom is our auto brakes. We're going to flip that to the RTO position. And now we can start working on our FMC stuff. So let's zoom in down here and see what we're working with here. We got ident, init, ref, index. What we want to do is we've already taken care of all that stuff on the EFB. This is the default FMC, so you're not going to get a whole lot out of this. We're just going to use this for navigation. So we can, click on VNav on the right, and you can see your VNav cruise 2 out of 3. On the right-hand side, I'm going to put in 330 because that is what we're going to be using, if it will let me. Okay, so the right one doesn't seem to work too well right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. So in VNav, I'm going to go on my side 330, and we'll select that there, flight level 330. it's happy with that. Departure and arrival. Before we do that, we'll go to the RTE page, route, and we're going to put in what we just did a little bit ago. So KSFO here in San Francisco, and we're going to go to LAX. There we go, just like that. Flight number today, I'll just call it American 711, my birthday. How about that? Okay, fantastic. Execute that. It's happy with it. Now we can do our departure and arrival. Now, we need to go to departure on San Francisco and select a runway. Select your runway before you select the SID. As it'll say, no, 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 don't do that. So we're taking off on 28 left. Now, it doesn't give you basically what the real world flight is going to be because they just changed up everything, and I don't think my stuff's up to date. So, with that said, we're just going to go direct to eBay, but here you would select the SID, previous page, next page, whatever, for your runway as normal. So, we're not worried about that. I'm happy with it. If I go to the legs page, after runway 28 left, we're just going to go to eBay, so EBAYE, and we'll select that. That will be a direct to there. The arrival, so we'll go DEPARR, LAX. We would select the star and then the approach. So the star is going to be the Ironman 2. Let's go to next page. Next page. There's Ironman 2 at the top, and that will be Burgle transition. And we're doing the ILS 25 left approach. So next page on that. There's ILS 25 left. And I'm not going to use a transition, as we are just going to manually have to make our way there. So hit it, execute on that guy, and we go to the legs page. Now we can see there's the disco after eBay. It's like, well, where do you want to go after eBay? This is the end of your departure, essentially. So we just can click on Burgle, and we can click right here on the disco line, and boom, it's done. Hit execute. So let's zoom out a little bit, come over here. We can click over to the plan mode. It's touch screen right there. You don't have to. You can always come up here and on the ND, and you can change it manually with that little guy, but we're going to keep it in plan mode, and you'll notice we have step options here now, and we can step through our departure. So by default, you have a bunch of crap on here. We can go to menu, and we can turn off APT, waypoint, STA, NDB. We just want to see what we're doing here, and put that away. So that's perfectly fine with me. We can change the range. Now the range seems to be way off. Yeah, quite a bit. All those orange little guys, those are all airplanes, and you're seeing that on the TCAS. So let's step through our flight here. We'll bring the range out a little bit longer. We go to 40, so step through. Runway 28 left. There it is. We go out to eBay, intersection, Burgle. Then we go to Duet. We go to, which one was that? Crowy? Yeah, Crowy, and then to Muppet. MDOTs, Gripper, biking, and then we start to make our turn after run, and then Ironman, Simon, based. Here's the turn based, and we go to Juice, and now we're on that left, we'll be on a right downwind for that runway. If I zoom out, you'll see it. There it is right there, and we'll step through. Now you're going to notice we're going to have a vector and a disco here. I'm fine with that because we're going to vector ourselves for the ILS approach. We will not be going direct there. If you wanted to, you could just go to Honda. You could grab Honda and you could throw it up in there. And you could go to the previous page and put it right where vector is, and that would automatically just put it there. But we're not worried about that. We can vector ourselves, not a problem. So I'm happy with that. I'll put VNAV on this side, and I will put it on legs on the right-hand side. So FMC is good to go. All that's good to go. I'm going to put it back into map mode. If it will let me. There we go. Back into map mode. We have our range here. We can go in and out all we want. Range seems to be a little off still, in my opinion, but I'm not really sure. Okay, so that's that. We're all done. All we got to do now is close up the doors. So we go to the door page, and we'll say, hey, it's time to close these doors. Oh, yeah, the door page is a little tricky. You have to right-click on these to close them. You don't left-click them again. We're making sure we're closing up all of our doors. There we go. And we're going to be ready for departure here shortly. Go back to the stat page, and we'll make sure everybody's good to go down there. Let's go ahead and plan our pushback. So we'll go to the main menu. We'll go to our ground services, and we will hit plan pushback. So they want us to push back. Now, we're using Traffic Global, and sometimes you have airplanes come out there in that alleyway, and they'll wait for you forever. So We're going to have a long push on this one. Well, not too bad, actually. We'll just make sure we have an out. If we have to make a right-hand turn, we can here. So line that sucker up, click on there, hit enter.
Down to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Call her through the menu when ready. We're going to click on this guy, and that should have her come on up.
Cockpit, tow is driving up.
There we go. So that is on the way. Back to the main menu on this guy, and then performance table. We'll keep that open, and we'll wait for them to come over here with the pushback. Okay, let's go ahead and turn our beacon light on, as we will be ready to start the engines here once we get pushed back. We had an American little guy go by on the side there. This one departing there. And you'll notice here with Traffic Global, they kind of have an elevator kind of look when they take off. It is brand new, so we'll give them time to fix the bugs in that program. We could go ahead and release this parking brake and put it back. That will allow the gate to leave the side of the airplane. That's using auto gate.
Pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right, they're ready to go. We're going to wait for them to clear that guy, and then we can start our pushback procedure. All right, sweet. So let's go ahead and release the parking brake. That's good to go.
Starting pushback, and you may
They're going to start the pushback, and we are clear to start both engines on the way back. Now, the 787 can start both engines at the same time, and we're going to show you that here today. So it's a little bit different than, say, a 737, 75, 76. Instead of, starting the engines, waiting for it in 2%, and then adding fuel, you'll just turn them on and then hit start. That's it. So we'll go right, left, and then just go right and left on the starters, and we wait and see if we get N2. There's N2 on the right side and left side, so both engines are starting.
Go ahead and set the parking brake.
All right, we're going to set the parking brake for them so they can disconnect the tow bar. We have two good engine starts, and we have fuel pump, center, low, and low. If we look on our fuel side of things here, we have nothing in the center tanks, so those need to be in the off position, and that will clear that out. We have steering locked out, APU running, parking brake on, seatbelts on, door auto, and auto brake RTO. Over here on the top, we can see APU gen is still on. We should be on the engine gens now. Looking at our LX, that seems to be the case. Back to status page. Disconnect and hand signals will be on the left. Let's go ahead and turn off the APU gen. And APU can go to the off position. And we'll wait for them to disconnect the tow bar. That's what they're doing down there right now. All right, there's the pin right there in his hand. Beautiful. We know we are good to go on that. Next, we set our flaps to flaps 10 for departure. All right, we are ready to taxi. We'll go ahead and make sure that we have taxi light on, and everybody else is set off. Great. Parking brake is released. We just add a little bit of power here, and we'll get rolling down to 2.8 left. We've crossed those runways, and once we clear them like that, we can turn our strobe lights back off. And now we go all the way down, and then we'll make a right, and then a left back onto hold short of 28 left. All right, we're going to be ready for departure down here. We're going to make sure that we have our landing lights on. Taxi light comes off. Runway turnoffs are on. And so strobe, holding short of 28 left. Making sure everybody's clear. British Airways 747 landing. You'll notice the way the Traffic Global guys land. They land pretty early on the runway, but they do grease it. Just like that. Look at that. Beautiful. And he is down. Let's go ahead and make sure that's good to go. Wing light comes on. Overhead panel is good to go. Auto throttles, we're not going to worry about them because they don't work correctly. So that's the reason why we're not using them today. We're just going to manually do it ourselves. There's an airplane coming in to land. Let's make sure he's not landing on our runway. So we're going to hold position right now. Okay, we're going to line up and wait on 28 left while they figure out how to vacate the runway. Make sure we have LNAV and VNAV. Those are on. So we have some flight directors. And we will start the clock as soon as we get onto the runway. So we'll hit clock on the left. We'll line up here on to 28 left and wait, see what Southwest is doing there. And then we've got that 7-4 holding. I don't know if he's going to hold the whole time for us or not. Want to make sure that that isn't going to be a problem. And not to mention this Airbus that just landed, he has not crossed, or he hasn't got off the runway yet. There we are, everybody holding there. Doesn't look like the 7-4 is going anywhere right now, so we might be good once he's good to go here. All right, let's go ahead and bring up our power. Let it stabilize, and then we're going to go ahead and add power. A little bit more than that. Takeoff power is set. That's pretty good right there. Airspeed is alive.
80 knots.
That is cross-checked. Boy, that guy is taking off on that cross runway there. Coming up on V1 here. V rotate. Nice and easy here. There we go. Positive rate, gear up. We are climbing out here. Nice and easy. Pulling some power back here so we don't overspeed. Flaps are up, lights are out, landing gear's up. We have no lights there. Just maintaining our climb right now. We can go ahead and turn off our nose light there. Runway turnoffs can go off as well. And next will be 10,000 feet. We will go ahead and turn off the landing lights. Just manually flying her right now over to eBay intersection. Taking our sweet time. Okay, so we are climbing over 21,000 feet now. We are on standard pressure. I don't have the autopilot engaged right now because I have not been able to get it to follow the magenta line to eBay on the LNAV. So we're going to see if we can get it to do that. Let's go ahead and try now. Autopilot on. There we go. Looks like she's going to follow eBay. Fine. Beautiful. And we have VNAV. We're climbing out about 1,700 feet here. And everything is going according to plan so far. Just a few autopilot issues on the way out. But quickly resolved that. It might have been a intercept angle or something. We are 65 nautical miles to eBay intersection, and we are climbing towards flight level 330. Everything seems to be going according to plan. Overhead panel is happy, and we are happy ourselves. Almost to flight level 330 here. We can go ahead and start to show you some of the options we have with Traffic Global. We've got a little radar here we can open up. Move that over this way, and you can see the other airplanes around us. Open that up a little bit more. There we go. And you got a Southwest Airlines. Zoom out a little bit. We got a United. Quite a bit of traffic in the area here. Off to our left. And we can probably see them here on the TCAS. Yeah, there they are up there. So those are all there. Pretty cool. You have an option. You can go to a flight schedule. And here you can look at your local airport. We're over Monterey Regional here. If we wanted to look at different airplanes that were departing out of there, we could, which is pretty neat. We'll put that away. So if we want to, we can just click on one of these airplanes, and we can see what they're doing and where they are in relation to us. That's us behind there, as you can see. And he's on his way. That's where he's going, to Burbank. No, he's going to Oakland. No, he departed. Looks like he departed Oakland. He's going to Burbank. That's what's happening. Duh. So pretty cool. You can see what the AI airplanes are doing. Not too shabby. One thing I've noticed is that they do not have any contrails themselves, which makes them harder to spot for sure. But keeping an eye on what we're doing here. We're at flight level 330. Not sure why oil temp is as high as it is. There it is. Okay, it's going away there. It could be the VNAV surging those things. It likes to do that. Seatbelts can come to the off position. We can look over here. So we have Burgle. That's flight level 330. And then Do-It is 330. And we'll start our way down probably a little bit after Do-It because we need to cross Crowley at or above 26,000 feet. So we'll be able to do that no problem. Hope everybody is having a fantastic weekend so far, and that your week was very pleasant as well. I went to Charlotte for a couple days over the last week and did some promo for the NASCAR Heat Pro League Series. That was a lot of fun. Really had a good time doing that. I got back and doing some videos here. I will be going to Colorado Springs here very shortly, coming up next week. So I have some videos already planned for that. But should be a good time. We're going for our wedding anniversary. And here we are making our right turn over eBay. And we're heading towards Burgle now. So eBay and out to Burgle and do it. And then Crowley. Crowley, we're going to be trying to cross at 26,000 feet. So we'll probably start our descent just a little bit after, probably right on Do It, actually. For some reason, it's not showing us the top of descent. It didn't give us the top of climb either. So those are things that are missing for sure. In the menu options, we have W, XR, and TFC. If we go to menu, we can turn on terrain. No, that's not letting us do it. I think you have to do it this way. Weather, yeah, you click weather once and it goes to terrain mode. And now we have terrain. If you just go to weather, you can look at weather. But everything so far is looking good. We'll click that over to terrain mode. We'll need that for our arrival into LAX today. All right, we're 26 nautical miles to do it. We are going to be ready to start our way down. So we're going to make sure that we have a lot of altitude restrictions here. So we're going to make sure we don't go below those. Let's go ahead and just go to 26,000 on you. And we're not going to use a descend now or anything like that because it tends to try to get the airplane to get into a stall, and I don't want to mess around with that. Auto brakes are going to be 2 today, and we can start our way down just by opening up the VS option there. And down we go. Point the airplane down. Start at about 1,000 feet per minute. Make sure our passenger seatbelt signs are on. And we have began our initial descent into Los Angeles. I'm going to continue our descent here a little bit heavier. There we go. And we're going to make sure that we have our speed brakes out. We're going to need some drag here on our descent. A little bit further back. There we go. That's a pretty good spot right there. We got a healthy descent happening here. We want to do it at 26,000, of course. And we're going to be fine on that, I'm pretty sure. We can even go down a little bit more than that. And she should be happy. So we want to make sure we have everything set up for our ILS into LAX. To do that, we're going to go to the nav rad page on this side and make sure that our nav is set. So we have 1099 on the left, 1099 on the right. Of course, 250 on both, but it should be 251. So let me make sure that's set. 251 and 251 on that side. That should be all we need for that. So I'm not worried about that right now. Just want to do it here at 26,000 at or above. So we're going to be a little bit above that, but we'll be okay since when we vector, we'll lose a lot more altitude anyway. And you'll notice a lot of these restrictions have at or aboves on them. So you want to be below, you want to be at or above 20,000 feet there, but you got to be below 24 there. So there's a lot of altitude restriction things happening here. And I've noticed that the default airplane or the default GPS, not GPS, but autopilot system, what am I saying? That is what creates an issue. If you have a altitude restriction, the VNAV in the airplane does not seem to figure that out at all. We are descending towards Crowley now, 22 nautical miles to that. We want to cross that at 26,000. Same thing as before, at or above. So we're perfectly fine with that, and we're at 27.2 right now, so we're good for him. But we want to be below 290, which we are. So we're looking great right now on that. 1 to go. That's the sound of that guy. And we're actually going to bring this up just a tad. Don't need to be descending so healthy. But we will keep our speed brakes out. This airplane is quite slippery, and you're going to have to use that so you don't overspeed coming into LA here. So we're at 26,400. We're going to cross at 26. But we're going to continue our descent, actually, because Muppet's going to be 230, and it's not too much further than what you think it will be. So we're 15 a little early there. Let's go ahead and bring these guys in. I'm going to let it kind of level off here for a few moments at Crowe. And then once we're about 10 miles from Crowe, we'll start our way back down. And it's going to be 230 on this next one. So 230. There we go. That's selected. And we can go ahead and start our way down to that. So V-speed is on there. And down we go that way. Keep those speed brakes out here. We're going to need them to help bleed off that airspeed. And what we'll do is we'll not be using VNAV so much here. We're going to be looking at our altitude restrictions and our speed restrictions. So Muppet's 280. And we don't need VNAV right now. We're just going to turn that guy off. It's going to be 280 on this one. So we'll just go ahead and have the airplane starting to pull back its power for that, which it is doing perfectly fine right now. We're descending about 1,600 feet per minute, 1,700 now. And it's going to hold 280, no problemo. Next is Muppet, and that is 280-230. We're at there right now. Let's go ahead and bring our speed brakes back in. And it's going to kind of chill out here for just a few moments. Let everything catch up. All right, we're 7 miles from Muppet at 230. Let's continue on down. Next is going to be MDOT's at 20,000. So we're just going to go ahead and descend down to 20,000 here. Don't mind the FMC complaining about I can't make that. It will be able to, no problem. Go ahead and pull the speed brakes out here again. There we go. And now we're just going to have a constant rate of descent here towards where we're going. Because we're going to cross that at 20,000 MDOTs. And then Gripper's 19, biking 16, run is 14, and so on and so forth. Yeah, when unable 27, don't worry about it. We're all good on that. All right, down to 19 on this next one. We're pretty good right now. Cross gripper at 19. Biking will be 16, then 14, then 12. Let's just go ahead and bring it down to 12 and let it continue to do what it's doing, which is perfectly fine. And we're just keeping an eye on that as we make our way down still. Got a few airplanes off our nose, going to be on the left side. They're 4,300 below us, but we are starting to converge a little bit. But they seem to be on a heading out north, and they shouldn't run into us. All right, we are below 18,000 feet. We'll go off of standard pressure now, and it is 2977. Is what we want. There we go. Make sure it's set over there, and it is. So that's good to go. Monitoring our systems. We're headed to run intersection now. 10 nautical miles from that. That'll be 14 at or above. So we're going to be fine on that. 12 is going to be Ironman, like I said. And then we're going to get to Simon. Simon's going to be our first speed restriction. We got to cross Simon at 250. So keep an eye on that. We're at 280. It doesn't take much to bleed off the airspeed with the speed brakes out anyway. So we have a nice descent profile happening here, and I'm happy with it. Okay, we are crossing Ironman now. We're going to be slowing over Simon to 250 knots here shortly. Just waiting for a little bit more time. We're only 8 nautical miles to Simon. You see a beautiful, beautiful shot there. Is Burbank out there? Somewhere. Yeah, somewhere over there. Now let's see here. We've got 7 nautical miles there. Looking great. And let's go ahead and pull this back to 250. That is set for success right there. So she's slowing down. So we cross Simon at 250. And around at or above 12,000 feet. Base is going to be 240 at 9,000. So that's our next one here. 249,000. All right, based is 11 miles, so down in 9,000 we go. We're just gonna go ahead and make sure we're at 240 on that guy, so we're happy with him, which we are right now, so that's wonderful. We're starting to pick up the VOR there for LA. LA's right off our nose, actually, just off to the left of behind that pillar. I don't think you can see it because it's hidden, but downtown and all that's out that way. We should be making our left turn here very shortly, but the airplane is slowing down at 240 knots because we don't want to overspeed under 10,000. Once we get to 10,000 feet, we'll turn those landing lights and the wing light on. I just noticed we're in FPA mode. We can put that in VS. That would probably help, wouldn't it? And actually know what we're doing here. Let's do about 2,000 on that guy. Well, it doesn't seem like it wants to do it. That's all right. Now we go to Juice. Juice intersection is going to be 8,000. So on down to 8,000. We're just going to kind of keep this train rolling. No problem there. Coming up on 10,000 feet. There's LAX right off our nose there. 10,000 coming up on it right now. Beautiful. So landing lights are going to come on. And the wing lights. Ding that. Let them know we're going to be landing shortly. So we're going to slow down to 210 knots over Cliffy. We're 5 miles from that, so let's go ahead and start slowing her down to 210. Which is great because we'll be able to put those spoilers away, and we'll be able to use our flaps instead for drag, which is going to help us out tremendously. So we're continuing down to 8,000. Cliffy's going to be 7,000, so continue down to 7. There we go. And the airplane is slowing down, no problem. We get down to 210 here. Beautiful view of the mountains over there. Absolutely gorgeous. Using ortho for XP, the tiles sometimes are miscolored, so that's the reason why the coloring looks different between those two tiles. I know it's very strange looking. Let's look at our traffic out here. We got a lot of it. 4,000. He's climbing. He's above us. We're looking good here. We got 3 airplanes looking like they're trying to get out there to Honda. All right, 7,210 knots. Perfect. Let's put these speed brakes away. Actually, what we can do is we put them in the armed position, so we want that light to come on here. All right, there. Speed brakes are armed. And we can go now. Speed checks for flaps 1, flaps 1. And we're going to go down to 210, 6,000 at Dodger. So 6,210. And we're basically going to be on our own vectors after that. So let's get our heading selection here. We're going to get that all the way over to this. Right in front of us. And we're going to hold that heading. There we go. Select 070. So on heading selection right now, and we are descending, no problem here. About 1,800 feet per minute now. Got downtown LA off our nose there, and that right there is the Hollywood Hills. Okay, slowing down, looking good here. 210, 6,000 at Dodger. It's going to be perfect. We're just about over it. Gatto is going to be 6,000 as well. So we're slowing down all the way there. And Honda is going to be 240 at 1,900. Well, that's not going to happen. I don't know why they want to jump back up to 240. So we're just going to maintain 210 knots, and we're going to vector ourselves in here. Make sure our range looks okay. Looking at airplane traffic here. There's 1, 2 on our right. They're all lined up on the ILS. Looks like we're going to be good to vector ourselves in right behind them. We have some airplanes in the area there. We might be all right. We'll see how that works out for us. So 6,000 there. So we need to be Honda at 1,900 feet. I'm going to continue our descent down to 2,000. Vertical speed on down we go. About 800 feet per minute. And we'll descend down to 2,000 here, no problem. And I'm watching for the traffic here. They are out there directly off our right-hand side. Should be able to see them. Although I have none of them in sight. They're there, but the LEDs are probably making them invisible, I would imagine. Let's be ready to turn here before too long. We'll get a nice intercept going. Let's go ahead and go flaps 5, speed checks, flaps 5. And 230 is the limit for flaps 10. Speed checks, flaps 10. Maintaining as much drag as we can, because like I said, this airplane is pretty slippery. There we go, looking good here. In our descent. And we're watching what this airplane out there is doing. We're going to be fine on that, actually. He should not be a factor. I'm just watching spacing on that airplane that's landing. And we can go ahead and start our turn now to the right. Down to 2,000 feet. We don't have to just, we don't have to have hundo. Or, sorry, Honda. You can hit Lima there, and that'll be perfectly fine as well. And that's what we're going to do, actually. Get a nice intercept angle here for the ILS. And we're not on approach mode yet, and the reason why is because sometimes approach mode picks up a little too early, a lot earlier than you want it to, and that's bad whenever you intercept an ILS at 90 degrees. It'll overshoot it like crazy. So we can go a little bit further this way as we descend down to 2,000 feet. You can see LAX out there on the right, looking great. And we'll get an intercept angle going here for the ILS. That'll probably be pretty good right about there. We're going to slow down to about 180 knots here. You do not have VREF in this airplane, so you just kind of have to go off of what you know here. Okay, rolling off great here. Nice. And let's go ahead and arm the approach. We have the localizer armed. We've got glide slope starting to come down here. We should pick up the localizer any moment. There's the localizer moving now. Localizer alive. All right, flaps 15 is 220 knots, so flaps 15. And we'll put the gear down. Gear down. As much drag as we can out there. We're at 180 knots now. We're going to slow down to about 155. And we'll go flaps 17, 215, speed checks, flaps 17. I'm not sure what flap setting needs to be set for a 787 on landing, so we're just going to go to flaps 25, not 30 today. I don't know if that's incorrect or not, but we'll see. Okay, it's holding that pretty good. Go flaps 18. Flaps 18. All right, gear's down, so let's go ahead and make sure our nose light's on. Runway turnoffs can come on. Taxi light, keep that off for now. 2500. Everybody looks good there, 2500. Did we get our radio barrows set? I'm not sure. We'll put it at 200 for the minimums. Not that it matters. All right, she's slowing down quite nicely here. Let's slow down about 145. Actually, 140. Looks pretty good there. Airplane's flying a little low, so I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. Auto throttles are off as well, my airplane. Add our power here. Get back up on the glide slope. And this is just a matter of the airplane's systems not being perfect. All right, we're going flaps 20 now. The runway in sight. Back up on the glide slope, no problem. Pull back power a little bit here, and we'll go flaps 25. I'm gonna double check and make sure we're clear to land based off of what I see there. I think we are. I don't see anybody down there on the runway. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, we are good to go on that. So the airplane is a little floaty. Keep that in mind. Get about 145. That's working pretty well for us. It's a little floaty, so you want to pull your power all the way back once we cross over the threshold of the runway, and that's what we're going to do. Got a slight crosswind to the left, about 5 knots. So we don't have a VREF. We're just going to go for about 140 knots. 145, because 140 plus 5 is 145. And you always add 5 knots for wind just in case. Bring that nose up a little bit here. A little bit more power. 1,000. Correct that angle. Yeah, I don't know why the airplane wants to dive so much underneath the glide slope on the autopilot, but it just does. But you can recover it pretty easily. Tad high here now since we had to compensate for that, but I'd rather be a little high than low here on this approach. We got a knife. Nice, a knife? Yeah, we got a knife. Got a nice profile here. Not looking at the ILS anymore. Now we're just looking at our PAPI lights on the right of the runway. Pull back our power. Getting a little quick here. It is weird not having a VREF, I'll tell you that. A little strange.
500.
We're going to be a little low there on that. That's okay, though. We're going to be able to just kind of hang out right here in this spot, and that's right on the glide.
300. Approaching minimums.
Approaching minimums.
200.
We are landing. Come over the piano keys, pull that power out.
40. 30. 20.
Ooh, hello. Told you she's a little floaty.
10.
Down we go. Apply that nose wheel down. Reversers are out. Accelerating, no problem. Clear him at 60 here. 60, clear it. Airplane does have a bug in it. You're gonna have to turn the auto or the parking brake on and then off. All the little quirks of an early access airplane, man. All right, auto brakes are still set to 2. We'll put them to the off position. That should be good. We're clear the runway. And we'll go ahead and bring our flaps up. Once we cross over this guy, we'll make a right-hand turn. Look at all the airplanes here at LA. All right, flaps come up. Make sure our speed brakes are up as well. Nice down position. Left side here, and we'll start the APU. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LA. Let's make sure the APU gens are on. Those will automatically kick on once the APU is ready to go. We'll cross runway 25 right and head to the ramp. Okay, landing light's gonna come off. Nose light off as well. We can make sure that our wing light is off and our strobes are off. We're no longer on 25 right. And taxi light is on. Let Southwest pass in front of us there. Anybody on the right? Nope, we're clear. I'm gonna head into the gate. I'm gonna park right over there, actually, just to the right of that A321. That's where we're gonna go here today. So that's good there. Nice turn to the right. It does handle quite nicely on the ground, I must say. I'm very impressed with it. We are getting our frame rates absolutely destroyed here with all this traffic at LA. It is a very busy airport. And then on top of that, you've got the Short Final Designs LAX scenery. And that makes a difference, too, in how you get performance. All right, so we're going to go park over here on the right, and we'll be done. So let's go ahead and turn off the taxi lights. We'll say we've got the marshaller in sight, which we don't have a marshaller anyway. We have an auto gate system right there. We're going to do the auto gate. Actually, we'll just do the auto gate. I'll show you how I park normally. Usually we do an outside view for this, but I'm going to show you this today, how I do it. So we're going to turn in on the right here. We're going into gate 43. Kind of just feel it out a little bit here, and the auto gate will know we're a 787-900, and it'll say, hey, come on forward here. So I'm going to look at that auto gate in front of us. There it is right there. And we can see that we're slightly left. We're going to go left this way. Or we're slightly right. We're going left. And I can already tell the airplane's a little off. So we're just going to go a little bit more to the right here. In a few moments. Here we go. We'll go right. There we go. That should fix that. No problem. Moving in this way, we can see our speed towards the line. Slow down a little bit. And wait for the stop to happen. A little bit more power. There we go. Stop. Beautiful. So now we just pull the parking brake, and all we gotta do is just kill the engines, because we're on the APU gens, and the beacon light comes off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LA. Hope you enjoyed the flight today. And the Magknight 787-900. We'll fly it as it comes along in development. But I'll see you next time. Take care.